Hey fam, today I'm going to tell you a story about how someone actually owes me a free Timetwister, and they haven't paid up yet in the last 2 years, but I'm still waiting, and I'll be waiting for a really long time. So you're definitely going to be watching this because I know I'm sharing it with you. So I'm still waiting, and can't wait to get it. So okay, here goes the story. It's a pretty fun story. There's like a lot of really interesting details, pretty interesting things, and it's I wanna clarify, like, please don't dox this person. I'm not gonna give you their information. It's like at this point kind of a playful joke, so I don't really expect to get the time twister. But yeah, it's gonna be like a dick move kind of thing. So that's why I have to like preface it like this. So okay, with the story, on with the story. When I first graduated from school, it was kind of hard to get a job with my degree. I specialized in graphic design and like communication, like digital communication or whatever, and the field is pretty competitive, like most things. And it took me a while to like actually find a job within my field. I think a lot of people have experienced this before. So I was trying to pay rent and I was trying to find like a job, and I was I was just kind of walking around like looking for jobs, holding my like resume, like a stack of my resume, and I found I found this store I used to go to. It's like a retail store. I'm not gonna tell you what it is because it's actually kind of specialized. So like if you look up like information about, like, there's only so many in New York, and I'm pretty sure you can find it pretty easily. So I'm gonna leave it kind of vague, but basically it's a retail shop that I used to visit quite often on my own or with some friends, and they happened to have like a flyer that said like looking for help. So I've never really done retail before. I used to help out a friend of mine who had a store in Hong Kong selling like really expensive Japanese dolls, like they're called like Dolphy Dreams and stuff like that. They're like fashion dolls, that kind of thing, and I just kind of helped out sometimes, like sitting in the store for them and like kind of talking with customers. Usually it's a pretty easy job to like sell that kind of stuff, because the customers usually know what they want and they're kind of coming up to pick up stuff, so I don't really need to do that much sales work. But at the time my sales experience was pretty low, and my knowledge for the product within the store at least was pretty good, so I thought like I had a good shot at selling it. I went up to the counter to this guy, like eating his lunch, and I was like, I'm interested in this job, and he asked me like, do I have any experience? I'm like, not really, but I do know like the product, and how about like I come in tomorrow or the next day, like how about you give me a week, like just a trial week, and if you don't think it works out, then like that's fine. And I also like to do it for free. Like I told him like I don't mind trying like a day for free to see if it works out. And I think he liked the way I talked with him, and like I guess I made it really easy for him, just like, there's nothing to lose here, I guess. So he said yes. And then I started working there at this retail job for about a year and a half, and it was like a pretty good experience, at least for me. Learning how to like talk to people, and like I think everyone should work retail at some point in their life, because like you kind of like, it kind of humbles you. You learn how like awful people can be when they treat you as like a service, like interface or like platform. They like don't really see you as a person as much, like for some people at least. There are a lot of customers who love coming back just to chat with you, that kind of thing. And like that, I think learning how to be humble and like kind of stomach all like the difficult customers and the Karens and stuff like that while staying professional is like a pretty key skill to learn for like other jobs in the future. And yeah, but like I had a pretty good time working at this retail job. Like it didn't pay very well. I think it was like technically under minimum wage, but like it was kind of under the books kind of thing. So I kind of had to do what I had to do to like pay rent. So I probably should cut that out of the video. I don't think the IRS watches my video, so we'll see what happens. Anyways, okay. So I worked there for a year and a half, and then eventually I kind of thought like I could get comfortable here. I definitely could. I was able to pay my rent. I had like a little bit of money left over to like buy stuff. And I think I could have been complacent because I like working with my boss. I like my coworkers a lot. Actually, one of my coworkers ended up being like a Ramp Gang like member. Like he and I actually, that's sort of related to like how I got into Commander, because I hanged out with him a lot and I found out that he played Magic, and then I just kind of dragged him everywhere I went. I dragged him to like the LGSs to try out Commander Night and stuff like that. So I guess if I didn't work there, I wouldn't be playing Commander. Maybe, I don't know. But that's not related to the video. All right. So I felt too comfortable at one point, and then I decided to just like be a little more aggressive with finding a job within my field. So then I think one day I got an email from my old professor that he was starting his startup, and then I just decided like to email him back like, are you looking for any help? So he said yes, and then I started working for him for a year, just kind of helping him build his business. It was pretty crazy actually, learning like all these new things and like how to talk to clients and like do sales from like a different perspective, like how to like do networking and like cold calling and then like building rapport, stuff like that. So eventually this gets me another job that's even better, because I use my skills from like both of those jobs to like kind of build a network to like weasel my way into like a pretty good agency that I didn't think I would be able to get into. But like my consistent like annoying like of the hiring person eventually was just like, all right, fine, you get an interview. So that worked out. So the point of telling you all of this is, this first job of mine at the retail store, I kind of treated pretty special to me, because if it wasn't for my boss at the retail store giving me a chance, I don't think I would be able to be here. I think even though the job was kind of difficult, sort of, like it was long hours and not really physically difficult, but just long hours and pretty demanding. Like during Christmas, like I only had one day off like for the whole month, or like 2 days off. It was pretty low because it was Christmas, and like just a lot of tourists come here and buy this kind of stuff. So it was pretty, I definitely put in the effort, but I felt like it was worth it. And if it wasn't for this I owe a lot to the store. I think to me that's how I think about it. So this is like I think about 4 or 5 years after I finished working for that store. And every now and then I used to go back just for like a weekend or two to help out if he ever needed someone and he was shorthanded. Like I never minded going back. It's like pretty fun for me to work there actually, because I just like sell stuff and I'm pretty used to selling this product and I'm pretty confident in doing it. So it's just kind of like just nice, like a nice thing to do on a weekend every now and then. So this is like about 4 or 5 years after I stopped working there, and I'm at like another place. And then one day I get a call from my boss, and he needs someone to come work. Like he needs people to work pretty bad. I'm not sure what really happened. I just think he's short-staffed. And at the time I was working a full-time job already, and I couldn't really take any days off during the week because I'm working for someone else. So I offered to work on weekends for him, at least like a Saturday once a week. I think I did Saturday, Sunday for a month at least. Like that's what he needed. He needed at least like a month's worth of like my time. So like that's like 8 days. But that means I work like 7 days a week for a month, which wasn't that bad in my mind because like he really needed help, and it's not the most difficult job. So even though it's like I don't really get like a day off, it's not that bad. So anyways, yeah, I decided to work for him, like be part-time for that month, and I think he wanted to extend it, but the original agreement was to do it for a month. So I go back to this store. There's a reason why I'm setting all of this up. I go back to this store, and there's a new manager at the store. We move locations. I helped him pick the location actually, back when I used to work there, and I actually helped him move all of this stuff. So I'm pretty ingrained in this store actually. And there's a new manager. I'm not gonna say his name, but let's call him, what should we call him? Let's just call him manager. That works. Okay, so there's a new manager, and he's like a nice guy. He seemed like pretty charismatic, and I thought it was pretty good that my boss family had like a manager or someone else who had more like business acumen. It was kind of like a mom and pop shop that he just hired people he liked, and then it kind of naturally grew into somewhat like successful and survived like a bunch of competitors and stuff like that. So it was good to see that there's like someone who has worked in other jobs before and has like the skills necessary to like help this store grow and continue and be able to form like relationships with like suppliers and like partners and stuff like that. So I thought like it was pretty cool to see this guy here. And then there were a bunch of other just sales reps there, like they're younger. Usually the people who work there are fresh out of college because nobody really wants to like stay at a retail store usually for that long. And my boss knows that, so that's why he's pretty used to just like training people all the time and like swapping them out every like year or two. So these guys are kind of new, and then I met them. They're like super nice. It's like a pretty friendly store. So then I'm hanging out my first day, and then I got to chatting with some of the people, like some of the other sales reps. They're like pretty young and like fresh out of college. I already said this already. And they play Yu-Gi-Oh, but I think one of them played Magic. So I was talking with him about just like Magic. Like I played Commander. I play pretty competitively for Commander. I used to play, I think at the time I was playing Modern too. So I was telling him I play Modern and like kind of talking through those things. He was a little newer to Magic. Like I think all he had was like a 60 card like kitchen table deck, but he was interested, and he also played Arena a little bit, so he was interested to like learn about Commander and learn about what I was talking about for Modern. And then later in the day, the manager comes up to me and says like, "Oh, I heard you play Magic." I'm like, "Yeah, I play Magic." And then he was like, "I used to play Magic a long time ago, and I was curious like if you're interested to like just buy my collection. I don't really play Magic anymore. I play as Arena. Like I don't really need these physical cards." So I was like, sure, maybe. Like I don't mind checking it out. And then he pulls out his phone and shows me photos of his collection. And the first photo had I think 7 playsets of Power 9. Like it was or neatly laid out. Of like I've never seen so much Power 9. It like there's like a lot of lotuses. It's not just like 9. There's like 12 or something. Basically a very expensive collection, and I was like, I don't think I can buy this like as much as I would like to. I don't think I can afford it. And then he was like, I don't really need this stuff anymore, so you know what, I'll sell it to you for $5,000. And I was like, like one of these is probably worth more than like $5,000, right? And he was like, yeah, I know, I don't want to deal with it, just take the whole collection for $5,000 if you want. And I was like, oh, okay, like if you okay. So then I texted a couple people in Ramp Gang to be like, yo, does anybody want to just split this collection with me, and we'll just walk away with like at least 1.5 sets of Power 9, excluding all the other cards. Like just that part was already like kind of crazy. And immediately I was able to get like the 5K pretty easily. It wasn't that big of a split. And then I had lunch and came back to my manager, about the manager, and I was like, hey, let me know when you're ready, and we can like look at the collection in the store, and like we can go from there. And now like if you want, I can bring it in cash, bring it in like checks, whatever you want the 5K in. And then he looks at me and he goes, oh, I was joking. I didn't realize you were gonna be serious. I actually didn't think you would be able to like afford it. And at the time I was like kind of confused because the way he delivered it wasn't like a joke. I guess it's like a prank, which is fine. But what kind of rubbed me off the wrong way was like, I guess the line that was like, I didn't think you can afford it, which is interesting. But I let it go. Like after he said, it's a prank. Like to be fair, it's not like I wasn't being greedy here, right? Like I was also thinking about like, oh my god, I'm gonna own a Power 9 for $5,000 or whatever. Like that's insane. I can sell that and like buy a house or something. Not a house, but like I'm greedy here as well. A bunch of people are being greedy, so like whatever. It's a prank. It's not like we're all saints here. So I was like, it's okay. It's fine. It's my first day. Like you're a new guy, like new person, whatever. I don't really care. And it's not like I lost any money. So like, not like I need a Power 9. So whatever. So, day continues, and then this manager like kind of continues like during the day. We kind of have to see each other at the floor. Like the store is pretty small, and then he's like, I forget that you're not like the other people here. I forget that you actually have like a white collar job, and that you can like afford these things. And I was like, yeah, I guess like, yep, I make money. And that's like, again, like kind of confused, like kind of weird to me, because it's like kind of a it's kind of nasty thing to do, I think, to knowing like someone's financial information, like financial position or whatever, like economic status, and then tempting them with something that like knowing like they can't afford it. I think that's like a pretty nasty prank, I think. But again, trying not to like linger on it, so whatever. I talk with him about how he has that many like for fun, like he's like a pretty nice guy in general. Like I like talking with him. So he was telling me how back in the day when Magic first started, he and a bunch of his friends all had like tech jobs back in the day as like developers. This is like really early days, like developing. I don't even know what language you'd be using back then. But he and his friends had like pretty good jobs, and what they did was whenever a new set of Magic came out, so they bought a full case for every set, like 10 cases of it, like 10 cases of boxes for every set since Alpha all the way to like Ice Age or something. And they would split it evenly amongst each other, and he said that back in the day, like Magic wasn't that expensive as like a hobby. Like you can buy boxes of this stuff for pretty cheap, and they had like good jobs, so they could do it. So they did that, and basically they all have like a lot of collections of stuff like this, of Power 9 and like crazy stuff, and like duels and all of reserve list stuff, everything like up to Ice Age you can imagine. Like they have sets of it. And throughout the years, a lot of them like sold out of the hobby like way earlier, and he's one of the few like people of that friend group who actually held on to it for this long. And yeah, so he just happens to have like all this stuff sitting in his basement somewhere, and then, which is pretty interesting. I think it's like a pretty interesting, like it's kind of interesting to think about, like being back playing Magic back when it started and being able to afford that many cards and just like happening to hoard that stuff. Like it's pretty cool. I did something similar when I started playing Vanguard. I just buy boxes of it because Vanguard's a pretty cheap like card game back then. At least the boxes, they're like $40 a box or something, as opposed to like 80 of Magic. You get less cards, but I digress. Like just I get the idea of like doing that with alpha beta like unlimited revised boxes, pretty cool. So we talked about that, and I think we're cool. Then later, later during the day, my manager or the manager comes up to me and he's like, Rebel, I feel really bad about that prank still. I think that was not nice. Do you really need anything from Power 9? I thought you can't play with those cards. And at the time, I had my Silas Timna deck, and the only card I needed, and the only card you can play from Power 9 is Timetwister. So I was like, yeah, I need a Timetwister. Like, that's the only card I really need. And he's like, oh, Timetwister? I got like 20 of those. Yeah, you can definitely have one. And at that point, because he fucking pranked me already, I was like, you're not fucking me, right? Like, you're gonna give me this Timetwister. And he's like, yeah, I'm gonna give you a Timetwister. And then he comes back again later, just like 10 minutes later, with his phone with TCG Player on his phone, and he goes, I know why you wanted that Timetwister now. And at the time, Timetwister was about $400-$500, I think. Not even. Maybe it was about like $500. It wasn't like $1,000 or anything, but it was like quite a chunk of money. And he's like, I know, now I know why you want a time twister. And I was like, you said it. You said you owe me a time twister. Like, you said you're gonna give me that time twister. And he's like, yeah, I told you. Yeah, I owe you a time twister. I was like, okay, you can bring it tomorrow. I'll be here if you. Actually, I'm not working tomorrow, but I work pretty close, so you can bring it on a top loader, and I will be here to pick it up. And then he didn't have it. He didn't bring it, and eventually he just kind of stopped talking about it. But every now and then when I used to work there, I would like kind of like hint at him. Like I would take take these stickies, I'll draw a clock and like a tornado and like stick it on like every little cashier, so like he would see it when he's like ringing out customers. And then like periodically, like every couple months, I would message him on my phone and be like, time twister, or like same emojis kind of thing. He never gets back to me. I haven't seen him since because of pandemic, but I think once it's over, I'm probably gonna visit the store and see how he's doing. But yeah, so technically he owes me a time twister, and I can't wait till he delivers. And once he delivers, I'll make an update video and tell everyone about it. I actually had an idea about this time twister also, where I wanted to get like a proxy or like some sort of thing where an artist can alter it, and I want them to alter his face on the time twister. So then every time I like play it and someone asks like, who is that? I'll be like, oh, that's the guy who owes me the time twister. I think that'd be pretty funny. Maybe too spiteful, but I think I'm gonna end the video soon here. That's my time twister story. I don't really mind that the person isn't gonna give me this twister. I expect I'm never gonna get this twister. I think you can like, I think a lot of people talk about how like you made the deal, so you should honor the deal, like that kind of thing. Like it is a little bit of a dick move, but you like it's fine. Like that's just how things go sometime. I think to me, what's like worth it more, even though a time twister is like beyond what I can afford. Like technically I can drop the money on it, but personally I feel like time twister at that level, it's almost like irresponsible for me to spend that much money on cardboard, especially like after a pandemic and stuff like that. That's just me though. Like I think if you think it's worth it, I totally support that. But I think what's more worth it to me is that the fact that this person hasn't delivered the time twister, and hopefully in the many years to come, he will remember that because of a prank, because he doesn't want to pay up, that he technically owes someone this thing that he pranked. And I think occupying his mind, the real estate of his mind, to me for the years to come is like worth way more than a piece of cardboard ever could. So see ya.